Podcast.
I think you can just hear me swallowing in the background.
Rise of the voice. All right. This is our first
episode
of
moving to China.
What?
Of how we moved to China.
Yes,
Whoa,
or
our
like
2020. Yeah, we moved in 2020. When did you find out?
Like 2018. Because our dad worked here 2019 before
2017?
COVID.
Like, honestly, I think
it was our grade 8
God.
year, beginning of grade 8 year, and we always knew we were going to go international.
Was that like beginning of 2018?
It was I don't know. It was a while ago, grade 8 sometime, and I remember I would try to flex it, but I don't know.
You did?
And when we first heard about it, we were like excited because we thought we were going to Aruba because they were like, "Oh, we want to go international. We're tired of Canada."
That school is really annoying.
And then they were so bad. So then they were like,
so we were in Tim Hortons, and my parents told me, "Hey, we're gonna move to China, to Hefei," and I was like, "Absolutely not." And then we had a full meltdown, and then we had to sell all of our stuff in our house during COVID. So we had random strangers in our house trying to buy things.
What?
Because we had to sell all our stuff.
You just invited people in your house?
Yeah, because Kijiji.
Find someone in your home. Oh, you find someone on the street. You're like, hey, you want to buy a table right now?
It was like that, but for Dubai, and we just had people coming in. But then with COVID restrictions, that all froze because people weren't allowed to leave their house at all without government permission.
Right.
And so we had to put a whole freeze on that, which in the end gave us about 3 weeks to sell everything we owned. And then after that, we kind of ended up giving like a lot away, so we lost a lot of money then. And then packed up, went to Canada for the summer, and then we didn't hear back from the school. And from Hefei, so we were like,
you still thought you were going to Hefei?
Yeah, and then everything stopped. Like all communication stopped.
They just stopped.
Just bailed on you?
Kind of. Like we didn't hear anything from them for a really long time. So we're like, well. So my dad started interviewing for other countries, other places.
Wow.
One of the things that was going to happen was, Mom, Ewan, and I were going to live with Molly in Halifax in a little tiny itty-bitty apartment.
Yeah.
Ewan and I would go to public school. Mom would have to...
no.
Yeah.
Not public school.
Public school's underhyped.
It's
such an experience.
It's a different high school experience.
I don't know anything about it because I've been an Ivy kid my whole life. But anyway.
So much easier.
Mom was going to be like a grocery shopper person, like work there. Like we would have zero income, but Dad would move to like northern Canada, like where it's like dark and freezing, and he would get paid
terrible.
like for that and the job. Like we had stupid things like that going on.
Stuff.
Yeah, and then anyway, in the end, Doug told us about Beijing, and we're like,
how did you know?
I think he just came back all of a sudden. It was really random.
Doug got you to Hefei?
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
And then he's like, do you want to come to Beijing? And we're like, well, So anyway, short story was we took the Beijing part and had to leave Molly in Canada, which was freaking hard. Yeah, and then, and then ended up here. I started school at the lake and looked like a hobo.
Oh my God,
that's what I saw you.
Oh, it was not your peak, I can say that.
Oh, you guys were in quarantine. I was still at the lake.
Yes.
And
I was like, oh no.
I think because the
we
day
knew about you too because our parents work together.
I remember it is your mom's voice. That's all I knew. I knew Caroline because of her voice. And then what was it? The day we got to China and started quarantine was the day that you guys got out. Yeah. So I was like, what kind of food did they have? What was this? All my questions were like through Caroline.
Yeah, I remember that, and Keira would be like, oh my God, she's asking so many questions, but our flight went well. I
honestly found the flight
boarding the flight, and it was pandemonium? Is that the right word? Like, it was insane.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh, we were all crammed into
this tiny room.
Like, we were the only, there was a couple other families of international people.
In Canada?
like
In our flight.
yeah, in Canada when
Yeah.
we were in this room in Vancouver.
I remember specifically
And
these
it
two
was just, like,
guys that were
full of like
yeah.
just people traveling back to China, and then we had
Yeah,
like
it
there
was
was a couple
crazy.
international.
That's
families.
right. I remember that. It was at like where you drop your baggage. Is that what you're talking about?
No, we're trying like when we
before
got
we
through,
went
there
onto
was
the
like
flight.
there was very few international flights going. So we were like at one point we had to like
was,
scan
like-
so many things. We were scared
it
we
was for
weren't going to be able to
COVID.
board because it felt like we were running late and stuff. And we finally get into where we have to go before, like right before our flight, like where the doors are. But
Okay.
because it was an international flight, there's literally nobody around this little room. But they crammed us all into this room, I guess,
my
to like keep us out from the others.
No
There's
COVID.
people working in there
Yeah,
that
it
are
was a
like in
COVID
like
thing.
full quarantine suits. It was insane,
and it was
everyone
like hard
going
to
pushing
move.
to get onto
Really?
the
It
plane.
And then when they allowed us to start going on the plane, like it was just like pushing.
Yeah.
pushing.
That's
we
the
were at the
complete opposite. of
it was a
mine.
huge plane. We were at the back of the plane, and
With
I
a
remember
couple
there was like an
international
international family
families.
that they lived in Shanghai because the flight was going to Shanghai. We were just talking to them. I don't know. My parents talked to them. They knew those two families knew each other, but it was just nice seeing somebody. But yeah, and then the flight was pretty good. We also flew to Vancouver first. Actually, I forgot to say that, and we met our brother.
Oh, I
But
didn't know that part.
yeah, we saw our
we
brother.
flew
That
from
was the last
Toronto
family member I saw.
London to Vancouver.
Did you like go out?
Yeah, we went to eat with our brother because we stayed the night in Vancouver. It was really exciting too because we were so excited to just see China, and then I remember getting to China. We didn't have VPN.
Yeah.
Oh my
it
god, I
was-
was so sad. I was like,
we
I can't
were-
text
Oh,
anyone.
we got ours in
Kayla-
Montreal.
We didn't even know.
We didn't know. We didn't think. Like our dad was. I don't know. We were. Yeah, we
'Cause the
got
school has
in to the
built-in
hotel,
VPN, so.
and this lady from Toronto, this woman from Toronto, she was like studying abroad, but she was like in the same
Yeah.
quarantine room, and
No,
she
in
quarantine hotel, and she was helping them and telling them like we were told we could be a family of 4 in a quarantine room, which we
Yeah,
didn't. We ended up
she
splitting
literally,
mom,
like,
dad,
saved
or
us.
mom and I and
I
Kayla.
could not imagine being the 4 of us in
We
a
were
room.
we were at this quarantine hotel, and this girl was like, "Oh, I can help translate for you." And we were so lucky to have her because
They-
none
none
of
of
us
us
couldn't speak anything.
Yeah.
And the people at the hotel couldn't speak English, so it was so hard to like communicate with them and like figure out Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But then that girl was like helpful. But
Yeah, quarantine was like quarantine was a reset. It was really
We
nice.
had a completely different experience with quarantine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
yours was
food,
rough.
because our food. I remember that's how we first talked to, but our
yeah,
food
exactly.
for quarantine was pretty lucky at the time. It was definitely like beef spaghetti
I
sauce
was
over
just-
like gross.
I was just so
Right.
excited to like move though. Like I was excited to be in China because I like for this
Move.
final like 5-6 months I was so miserable where
Yeah.
I was in London. I just like I didn't feel like there was anything left for me there. I was like I need a restart. And
Yeah,
quarantine was like the transition between
It
that.
was-
And obviously we got very lucky
I
with
mean,
where we were and stuff.
it was a hard time too, 2020. Like, so we couldn't see our friends, and then
Yeah,
we
with
summer we
COVID.
got a few more liberations. We saw a bunch of friends, but we never got the official goodbye we wanted, which is hard
It was
because
hard because
the
it was
return is
COVID and
Yeah.
we were like, we don't know when we're coming. Well, we thought we were coming back at Christmas. I
Christmas,
mean,
we
obviously it's been a
literally
year and a
knew.
half now. We haven't gone back.
Yeah.
But it was so hard because we couldn't say bye to a lot of our friends because we weren't allowed to see them because of
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was hard, but yeah.
No, I was in Montreal for the summer, and then we went from Montreal, Toronto?
Vancouver, I thought.
No, yeah, I think it was a direct flight from, so Toronto, Vancouver. I had to do, no, Montreal, Vancouver, and I had to do school in both of those hotels
Oh,
because it was school had started.
We were lucky. We flew out
Yeah.
a week before.
So, like, I was
Yeah, we had
doing,
a week
each
of
class would be, like,
practice.
from a different part of the world. Keira, where are you now? Oh, I'm in Vancouver. Where are you now? Oh, I'm in Korea. I don't know.
Oh my
Um,
god.
So we did from Vancouver. We stayed over the night, and then what you guys were talking about, like the little room, we didn't have that at all. At baggage check, it was like hundreds of people just trying to get on this
So
flight,
many.
and that's where we met Emily, Adam, and Claire.
Right, I forgot you
You
flew
were on
with
the same flight with
teachers.
them.
Yeah. And we met them there, and then I don't know, went through the airport, and I think we got like an A&W like hash brown for breakfast
God.
at the airport,
Yeah.
and then got on the flight. Like there was nothing like crowded or anything. I mean, it was a little chaotic
Yeah.
just because there's so many people trying to get home,
It was
Right.
packed.
but
And everyone's so
Yeah,
pushy,
it
too.
was. Yeah, I mean the flight was fine. There was a dog on the flight right next to me.
Oh. We had a kid
I
that
remember
was,
we
like,
had a guy
wow.
next to us, and we literally were like, and he could, I don't know if he could speak or not, but then there was seats open in the back, so Kayla and I literally sat in the exact back, just us two, so we could have
Nice.
It was just like
it was
one
just
of those
two
two
seats.
in the back.
But it was
'Cause
nice.
Our flight was 3 seats, 4 seats.
I
3
remember
seats.
how exciting it'd be to get like a new meal on the flight. We would literally count down the
literally
hours.
looked forward to it.
Really?
because That was
We
the only
were
thing we
so
had
excited.
to look forward
I
to.
hate it. It
I just-
smells bad.
There was
It's
no,
just
there was some
exciting
good
to,
stuff.
see
I'm
what's
not even gonna-
come out and stuff.
Yeah, and it was all Canadian food. Like it wasn't Chinese. Yeah. No, I don't think there was.
I do not remember.
I forgot to
remember we got a
say, I
wrap.
remember when we first found out, like we knew we were going to China, but we didn't know when we were going to fly, and we just it felt like it kept going further and further back.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like,
and
like
then
we were like couldn't get
next
these
week-
flights, and then we
yeah.
figured out,
out of
2 or
nowhere,
3 weeks, and then we were like kind of upset because we were trying to aim for what was like end of August, and it was going to be like,
yeah,
or mid-August, and then out of nowhere it was going to be 2 weeks, and then they're like,
it's
you're
in a
okay, you're
week.
coming in a week.
Yeah,
we,
exactly the
spam-
same.
Like
Like,
spam pack.
Yeah.
We
But,
like
you're
packed
packing up-
every day, hanging
Yeah.
out with multiple friends a day. So
Yeah,
we
it
could
was
get
crazy.
by.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was so surreal that we were like 2 more days till China kind of thing, and it was just, it was such a,
it was just so weird. Like it was like I'm literally moving across the world right now. We have so
And
much baggage.
I
and-
underestimated like how like my friends, like it was so weird for me because I remember the night before our flight we said bye to one of our closest friends, and I didn't even cry. I was just like, I'll see
I
you in a few
cried.
months. Oh, I did cry for her. I didn't cry for my other.
It like
close
clicked
friend.
in then. I'm leaving to
Yeah.
China the next
Before then, I
day.
didn't even think
First
about
time
it. It's so
moving in our
weird.
life.
A whole new life for you guys.
Anyways, let's talk about when we got off the flight.
Like,
At like 1 a.m., you get to the apartment. How do you feel? You see what it
Oh my
is.
god.
Oh, God.
So everybody was tired. It was because we had to
Oh
take a
my-
flight from Shanghai to Beijing. So
Oh my
we were like
gosh.
sitting on this. There was
It's
somebody that picked us up in a van.
Wait,
Mhm.
let's listen to like the flight that we had from Shanghai to Beijing was so bad. We were starving on that flight.
Oh my God.
And the food they gave us was this nasty like burger. It was like burger
I
bun, but the
completely
food
forgot.
inside was so gross. I was like having a bad night. I had gotten off the
Yeah.
flight. I had realized I was having lady problems. So I was so
She's
miserable. I was
grumpy.
like crying. I was like, I just want to go see where we're living. And then the guy picked us up in the van. It's like so late. I'm just like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. And like we get to the apartment, and I remember we were driving along, and out of nowhere, I felt like we stopped in the middle of the street, and there it was,
Yeah.
at the school. And I was like, this is just in the middle of like a street. I was like,
weird.
how is this even?
Yeah.
Like it looked so weird for it to be randomly put there. And then we got out, and I remember getting into the apartment and seeing the crowded things everywhere. Like all these teachers had given us this stuff. We couldn't barely move. And I remember I needed to take a shower because I was a mess. And I look, and there's like a cockroach on the
crawl
floor.
by.
I was so disgusted. I wanted to go home. I was like, this is so gross. And
Not what you expected.
yeah, and on the elevator going up, I was like, ew, this is so
Yeah.
dirty. And I remember I went into the shower, and there's like a little lift in the shower, and I was like, what is this? Where am I? And I just had to pick up a towel. I was like, hopefully this is clean. Like, I don't know. It was just in the apartment.
No, I thought you took one of the house we brought.
No, I think it was the one that Dad had before he came back. I was just like,
yeah.
bro.
And there was like,
God.
so we came in the
remember-
car, and I was like half awake, and my mom like turns because she visited the school when she visited China in 2018, not knowingly.
Oh,
that
I didn't
we,
know she did that.
She didn't know both my parents came to China like just to experience it was some exchange thing through our school
Oh,
board.
okay.
So they went to China in like November of 2018 or something, and they didn't know they were going to China or 2017 maybe, and they didn't know they were going to China, and they literally visited the school that we go to now. So it was
Oh,
like,
really?
no.
Yeah.
It was
know that.
so they knew where the school was and stuff, and they went to Shanghai as well. But so they literally were in the car, and I remember specifically like the road and stuff. Like obviously I know the road, but
Yeah.
it was late, and she's like, "Oh, there's our school," and I was like, "Here, like that's a school?" Because it was not what I imagined it to be because we live on
Yeah.
campus. So I was
Yeah.
like, "That's the apartment? Like it's right there?" Like I didn't know it was the campus were to look like that based off pictures that my dad showed me. I didn't think it was like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was like across like a field, not the school field. So I saw it and I was like, wow. And then the apartment and then the lighting in there is so like dank.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh my
Felt
god.
dirty
And then
it was
Doug
so humid and everything.
Doug meted us outside. The head of the
Meted
school
us.
met us outside, and he was like, welcome. And I was like, I just want to go to sleep. And then Kayla and I, our rooms were so full with stuff. Everywhere was full with stuff.
Furniture.
And we rushedly were like, what room do you want? Because everybody painted the rooms the same color.
I thought I got the bigger room.
And
but
I just
Yeah,
First time
speaking
we
of,
met at
Kira's
lunch.
first day of school.
My first day of school, my first class was design. My current English teacher showed us where to go, where Miss Reward's class was. So Ewan had French, I had design. I went to go see Miss Reward for the first time, said hi, and then Ewan took me to my design room, and I forgot my water bottle on the very first day of school, and I want my water bottle.
Not the water
I
bottle.
know.
The worst part about
So
it.
Ewan gave me a sip of his water, and I was like, okay, I'll see you later. And then I was the very first one in my design classroom, so I just went. Because on Zoom, I knew where people sat, and because I was friends with Rachel already on WeChat, so I just went and sat like where I thought she would sit, like around there. So I sat next to people who I'm currently friends with now, but at the time I wasn't. And then did design, I don't know, went to a bunch of classes, and then went to lunch. And then the famous line.
I remember
the famous line of, hi, I'm
Making
Keira.
friends, yeah.
No,
Keira
but
was...
the first nutrition break, I remember hearing.
we talked to the new girl.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I
Denisa
did
and
meet
Taya.
Denisa.
We're like, we just, like, we talked to the new girl, like, she's like, I'm like, is she blonde? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I know who she is. Like, she's the, like she's the principal's daughter on the elementary side.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, I knew you were coming, and I knew you were there that day, and I was like, oh my gosh, so she's here. And then at lunch, you came down.
Oh
and
my god,
we
the
knew who each
iconic
other
approach.
were. Kira comes up to me and goes, no, she didn't.
I
put out
did
her hand.
not put my
I
hand
said,
out.
hi, I'm Kira.
It was just like such a like peppy like customer voice, and we were like,
Yeah.
oh hi.
We
and
thought
then
she was not gonna. We thought
just,
you were just weird. I was like, you're not gonna be friends with me. Get out.
immediately, yeah. It was at first we were like, oh, like small talk, whatever. But immediately we went to the conversation. We sat us three, and the rest of like Denisa, Taya, and like Rachel and all them. They sat separately just because they were like set friends. They've already been friends. So we sat close to them just because of Denise and Taya. So you sat there, and we were like, we went right away. We were talking about the game Snaps, which is so stupid. We talked about
That wasn't
quarantine.
on the first day though.
Yeah, it was. It was first day.
First day, I remember going
Oh,
outside.
that's right.
On the
Yeah.
field. It was later when we ran out of conversation topics. So I remember going outside on the field.
The
We
girls.
sat us three. The other girls,
Yeah.
like Denise, Tay, and their friends, were separate, and we talked like about quarantine. We talked about everything because we had so many similar experiences because we were both moving to China at the same time. We talked about Canada. We talked about everything that we had in common, and we were talking like consistently the whole break.
Yeah, no awkward silence. It was
And
really nice.
I didn't even get to say all that I wanted to say to you. Like, I remember there was so much that I wanted to say.
Yeah.
It was finally someone to talk
was
to
just
about
like an
a
instant-
relatable thing.
It was so easy to
just
relate to.
so perfect. And then that's
Instant
when
click.
it was that because with Denise and Taya and everybody else, it took a lot longer just because I was like very closed off.
And I feel like we were like I feel like there was like we were like expected to be friends. I feel like so it made us.
Yeah.
And we were obviously living together, and our parents worked together, so it just like made sense for us to be friends.
I think
so I feel like that
also,
was also
that too because Denise and Taya like they're like now we're like really close with them obviously.
And they had their set friend group
but
as well.
they had their friends that they've already known, so it's just like
it's just being the new kid again.
like it's being the new kid, so you're gonna make friends with these people, but like
it takes some time.
It's gonna take a bit because they're not gonna immediately just go, you're my best friend from the start, you know.
But luckily all three of us were new, so And then, I remember I, like, coming, and obviously we lived in the suburbs in Canada, and the smells.
The difference in
it sometimes smell really bad on
the
those
difference between
streets.
city and suburb too is like you
Yeah, it
don't
was
have like
completely
everything
different.
is close to you here.
Yeah, and you're coming to one of the most populated cities in the
so
world.
everything is
Yeah.
close. Everything is
Yeah.
close to each other, and
It's
like
so nice.
all your friends
Yeah.
live close. Whereas where
Yeah.
we were, like it was a pretty populated city, like, but it wasn't like I don't like there was. How do I explain this? Your friends often, like, especially since we went to a school pretty far from our house,
Mhm.
our friends didn't live close to us at all. We had, like, 2 close friends, and it's, like, but now, like, you live below us, obviously. Vince lives across the street. We have
Yeah.
Stella,
Across the
who's
street.
behind us.
Down the street, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Dubai, I always had to get mom or dad to drive. I remember going to Solana our first day. We went to Blue Frog for dinner.
So
And-
good.
And I
Oh my god,
remember
Doug took us there. Did he take you guys there?
he told us to go. He was busy or something.
He got us there, and since he's so well known at
Yeah,
the restaurant,
yeah.
he got us cheesecake for free. It was so
Aw.
good. But I remember eating there, and Kayla and I got those like fake mojito things.
Yeah.
And Kayla and I loved it so much. We were like, oh my god, this food is so good. And
Right?
we first ate at Element Fresh. We ordered in
yeah.
Element Fresh because we obviously didn't have groceries. I remember the first night we had spaghetti with just red sauce, no meat, because that my dad somehow had that from like his previous year that got moved over because he lived like across the hall. But it was like blue. It was I loved.
I loved
food here.
Solana. I loved Solana. I was in the
Yeah.
honeymoon phase of being here.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
crying because there was no COVID here. So I was coming from COVID tests, from masks to all these things. And I remember outside of the Starbucks was like someone was singing and playing music, and there's people and kids running around. And I remember just getting there and like getting all choked up and going like, "Oh my god, like
And
finally."
The fountain that never really has water in it.
I was there.
That was so pretty to me, and it was just I was like, I'm in China, and people were like texting me. They're like, you're in China. Like, how is that? Like, oh my god, I know somebody from China. I was like,
loved it.
It was insane, and the not only like obviously the culture, but like the views and the difference in being a city
It was
between
so nice.
suburb. It's definitely something I would want to do. Like it's an experience I would recommend.
The
like,
weather was perfect
going
because
into a
I
big
came in
city.
October, so it was getting cooler
The
then.
weather was nice.
Yeah, but then after about like maybe a week or two, I started getting like, I want to go to Dubai.
because it was cold.
I was homesick. I wanted to either go. I missed my dog. I was crying all the time. I wanted, and I didn't. Like we were close, but we weren't really that close yet. And I still didn't really feel like I connected with people at school yet, and with my surroundings. So I felt a little homesick for a while. I think maybe until January, February, I started feeling like, okay, I can work with this now. That's not true. After spring break, coming back from Chengdu, I was excited to come back. I was like, yeah, this is my home. I can go home now.
I was very homesick at first. I missed my house and everything, but I changed how my room looked. Like I decorated it pretty fast, which helped a lot with making me feel at home because it was just like I could design it how I wanted to, and I love my room. I was so happy to design it because it literally was like somebody told me like I look like I live in a hospital, like a hospital room, because it was just the walls were blank and huge, and it was
you didn't make it feel like.
But I was homesick, but like I loved my new room. Like when I got the like bed, whatever, like to make the bed soft. I loved it because the size. I liked my closet. Like I don't know. I really liked it, but also, I don't know. There were some moments where I was homesick, not only of my friends, but like just being able to like kind of like be lazy. I don't know. In the suburbs, I would always like I'd go to the grocery store and just wear like sweats and a sweater or to school, and like because of the uniform here and stuff. Like I missed my school and the public school, and I missed like that.
Work was hard.
Yeah, because the change from public to IB is insane how hard it was. And we were lucky we were in grade 10. Like if we had changed into DP, it would have been even worse. But we had 8 classes. Our school day was really long at that time. It was 8:50 to 4. But I think
wasn't it 8:30?
also when I got braces, I just even more, like I got braces a few days before my birthday, and that made me want to go home. I just wanted everything. I wanted to go home.
Yeah.
But I think definitely my room helped, and then making friends. But I'm better with change. I'm okay with change. So, like, eventually I was just accepted it, and I was like, yeah. But Kayla, your change experience.
I think I don't know. I know from comparing Emily and I that I had a harder time adjusting
For sure.
than her.
I mean,
don't know from Kira, but from talking, I think
you would have it
I
worse,
think for
'cause I'm
sure.
used
I
to
had-
change.
Yeah,
out of
you've
the
had
three
it
of us,
before.
I had the roughest transition here. I mean, like I said before, but I was so excited to move to China because I didn't feel like I fit anymore in Canada. I was
And,
like,
like,
this. I just need to change. I don't like COVID's bad here. Like, there's nothing happening for me, so I wanted to move. And then there's the quarantine, which was fine. And then when I got here, I came to the school, and Emily and I would search on the Instagram account of CSB. We'd look at who would follow. And we were like, who are these
Students,
people? Like, we're gonna be
yes.
friends with people we don't even like. And I don't know. I think I was really close off to it. And, like, even though, like, I was so excited, as soon as I came, I was just like, I hate this. I want to go home.
Mr. Friends.
I missed my friends so much because I didn't feel like anyone really was my type of person exactly.
There's just tears every night. I mean, for both of us, but for you, definitely.
Yeah, and
I just kind of accepted it. There were still some tears, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to do it.
acknowledge that I'm bad at change because I've had some, like, bad, like,
I mean,
I've had slight changes in the past and I was crying about it. Like,
and
Yeah.
we never went out of Canada, North America. Like,
Exactly.
we never even on vacation. We went to the U.S., but, like,
yeah.
not for a while. Like, Canada, like we
had never
we only knew
experienced
Canada.
anywhere but North America.
and no different culture.
Yeah, so I came here and I didn't have
Culture
any
shock.
friends and I felt like I didn't belong, and I was like, I miss my friends, and I hated it so much for, like, months, and every night I don't remember a night where I wouldn't cry myself to sleep.
Aww.
And I had like teachers would recognize it as well, and I had, like, the work was so hard. I was like, I would come home from school at 4.
And
I
I didn't
would,
understand
like,
the mark scheme.
I would, if I had to make dinner, I'd be making dinner, or, like, whatever. I'd eat dinner. I'd come home, and I would, like, unpack from the day, like, put my stuff away and stuff like that, have dinner, and then work until 11, 12 p.m. at night, and I was, or 11, 12 a.m., and I was like,
yeah.
I was just so miserable. I was like, I can't take this. I miss public school. Like, there's just so much change happening in my life, and I just wasn't used to it, and I wasn't ready for it because I didn't even think of how much change I'd be experiencing. And obviously, I don't know, there is just a lot, and I would cry myself to sleep night after night, and I was so overwhelmed. I felt like I didn't have a balance between school and life. I was always working, like, especially in our math class, our teacher was so bad, so we had to stay after school every single day learning math. Yeah. So I'd come home from math, eat dinner, work,
our
sleep,
dad,
cry,
over
sleep.
and over.
We were really lucky, and our parents knew we were terrible. Like, we were, like, struggling, and we were lucky that our dad's principal, so he changed that homework rule because he changed the requirements because it was that every day.
And
like, it was not exaggeration.
There was other people.
That's all I did. Like, I remember other people in my grade also said that they worked a lot. Like, it was so much homework every night, and from every class, they just, like, always gave you homework. And I was like, and in public school, we hardly ever got homework for some reason.
Yeah, so that was also another change that you had to go through as well.
Yeah, and it's last thing. I was obviously, I feel like a lot of people didn't know that that was probably, I think, the lowest that I was ever at that I can think of. But that I think, like, my parents noticed, so I started going to the, like, school counselor and stuff, and
that's when I knew it was kind of not good.
For Kayla?
It was, See, this,
I do remember hearing you through the wall sometimes.
Oh,
like,
no!
Being upset. I sat down there and was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I remember.
I don't think anyone really knew how bad it was for me. I didn't even know how.
I knew.
I didn't even know. So I don't think you knew to the extent. I didn't even know how sad I was until I look back on it, and I'm like, it was rough.
Yeah.
And then this counselor was like,
our
"Go
dad
see
was
someone
like,
else,
we want you
because
to
I
come."
can't help you.
Our dad also was like, you need to go see the counselor. So we both went, and then I just kind of, I didn't break down as much as Kayla, but we did it together too. And then I didn't need to go to her, and our dad, she was like, I don't think there's anything that concerning, because our dad thought we weren't telling him some stuff. So, and then for some reason I think my dad asked if I wanted to go, and I was like, I'm fine, like I'm getting used to it now.
Yeah.
And then Kayla just somehow, she just kept going, and then I never really went again. I went one other time because at the beginning of this year I was struggling with my marks, but other than that, I was lucky. I don't know.
But I think the adjustment, like, it was March. It took me a long time.
Yeah.
But then I was, like, warming up, and obviously workload was getting better, and, like, friends, I think March.
Yeah.
Like, we were close with you from, like, October.
while.
But, like,
Honestly, yeah. I remember,
Yeah.
like, the very second night at the barbecue.
yeah.
That's when I kind of knew. I'm like, okay, yeah.
I
This is a
remember
thing.
eating at the steakhouse. I don't
Oh
know.
my god, yeah.
Also, we went to so many fancy dinners, which made me love some elements of China, but we haven't done those in so long. But other
God, I
parts of,
remember
like,
that.
liking China, like, it was just when I really started to make friends that I was like, you know, I actually like it
Yeah.
here. And I started doing some more adventurous things, like, in the summer. The summer was, like, summer and October, like, this 2021 October for me was, like, my favorite month of China I've ever had, because we had the break, and me, Kayla, and Stella, who was a friend that didn't like us at first, but we were opening up to more people, so
Yeah.
we
were
got
making
close with her.
friends
We hung
outside
out
of
with her like
school.
3 days that week. Just
Yeah.
it was so fun, and we were meeting people from finally we
Other
were meeting people from
schools.
other schools.
Yeah, that
and
was another
we struggled with that for so long,
reason
and
I felt so homesick.
yeah.
Is because I felt so secluded in the gates of the school. I was like,
True.
Like,
yeah, we never.
once I go out, I don't know what this is. Like, I
And
just never left.
Our school doesn't have an insane amount of internationals too, so. And the Chinese usually stick to their own group. There's definitely some, like Vince and Sam and Tian, that talk to us, but yeah, I remember it was I just lost track, but yeah, when I started liking China, like, I got close with some teachers that I really liked, and then now what it's like is like, I can't decide if I want to leave or not, and it's like, I know leaving
I'm always
here
going back and forth.
is like gonna be like so
gonna be tough.
devastating, even though I'm like kind of ready. I don't know.
It's normally about a year and a half until you kind of feel like somewhere is your home.
Yeah.
And then
pretty accurate. I mean, I felt like my room. I don't know.
Your
I think
room.
decorating
You love
it-
your room.
I love my room so much. I spent so much of my time there. But liking China definitely was based on me making friends out of school. Like, when we had this year's volleyball season is when I started meeting people from out of school. And that's when I started, like, knowing more people, like, knowing international people made me like China more. And then I figured out some more stuff that I can do so I can, like, have more fun. Like, I wasn't, like, enjoying China for, like, its advantages as much.
Yeah.
And then, so it's mostly based off friends, but the food here I always loved. But
Dumplings.
Cannot relate.
Craving those right now.
oh my god, yeah.
After talking about China for so long.
I struggled starting to like the food.
Same. At the very beginning, I was like,
This
this is not for me.
I loved
Yeah,
it, honestly.
But then I went to, like,
I think I
Chengdu,
was
and I
just-
went all over China for summer, and now I'm perfectly fine with it. The
I know,
struggle
I
is
like
going
it.
to be going back home to, like, Canada, where you get
Westernized.
where you
I
get
don't want Canadian fusion, bro.
the neon pink sauce that you get and the gravy.
Chicken and rice. Chicken and rice,
It's
man.
Chinese food.
So bad. Like,
It's
I can't express
yeah.
how much I like
People
fusion.
will be saying they like Chinese food,
God,
and
I
then
like
they're
Chinese
like
fusion,
having.
but when people are like from Canada, they're like, oh my god, I wish I could come. Chinese food is so good.
I'm like,
And
you've
I make
never had
sense-
Chinese.
That makes more sense if they're
stop
Japanese, because I
food.
feel like a lot more Japanese in Canada. It's Japanese fusion, but like sushi is usually sushi. Like, you're not gonna have too many different types.
Yeah.
But oh my god, like I just
Like, people would
You
tell
don't
me they like
know.
Chinese food, and I was like, no,
Like,
you
you
don't.
They
know
have
how
spring
good it
rolls,
is.
the spring rolls at Chinese restaurants, and I was like,
I'm just like, they go to like Mandarin. At like, do you know what Mandarin is? It's a buffet restaurant.
yeah.
And I never went, but it's just fried food, like so much fried stuff, and I'm like, you really don't, like, I wish you
don't
could
know.
come
You
so I
don't know
can
the
bring
food
you
until
to
you
all
have
these
chicken
restaurants I've
feet.
met. Like, I remember we went to a Chinese restaurant, and you just have to know what to order as well.
Yeah.
Like, cucumber salad, so good. Eggplant here is
Eggplant,
always,
they always
so
know how to
good.
make
They
it.
know
I like
how
their
to-
cauliflower here.
Never
I
had
don't know if I
cauliflower.
had, but the cucumber salad, they have like potato pancakes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so good. But what about okay, so we just went on to rant about food, but like what about like how did you feel when you figured out that you weren't gonna be able to go home for like Christmas and stuff? Like you
I
had
knew
to
it.
travel around.
I
You
knew it.
knew?
From
It
the
was
second
so
from the
hard.
second I landed in China the very first time, like, okay, I'm gonna be here for a while. I knew that because we were planning to go home at Christmas to see family that we didn't see in the summertime. I was like, not gonna happen. Summer started coming around. I was like, nope, not gonna happen.
Sorry.
And I remember you guys were like, yeah, we're gonna go home this summer, and I was like sitting back. I'm like, don't say anything, because I was like, don't ruin their dreams.
Even like I kept on saying like, oh, it's not Christmas, but like it's gonna be this next Christmas. And I remember
Nope.
I was talking to some people from Canada, and then they were like, when are you coming home? And I was like, Christmas. And it was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, I'm not coming home. And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just like felt like, I don't know. But the traveling here, I'm so glad that like
Ugh.
we were closed off. Like we couldn't leave.
Traveling in China.
Traveling
Yeah.
in China.
Yeah.
It was our summer vacation.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. I loved it.
I
It
loved
was
it too.
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, I was sad that we
Sanya,
couldn't go
I love the
international,
beach.
but it was
It's
really
nice
cool.
to travel China. Like
It's
China has so many
China's
different
beautiful.
different landscapes. So we could go
Desert.
down to like Hawaii
yeah.
kind of Sanya.
Yeah.
Forest.
We could
Yeah.
go to this like cool like old ancient city.
And there's just so much to see
We could
because
go
China's so huge.
see like beautiful like mountains in Guilin,
Yeah.
and like it was just like
stunning.
it was like so much fun. I remember it was so hot sometimes. I
That's the
remember-
only thing I was just
yeah,
gonna
it
say.
was really
The worst
humid.
part was the heat and the humid.
And then when you were like, they would be like,
Humidity,
because we had tour guides in two of our places, and they were like, time to take a hike. And I was like,
no.
"You're kidding."
no, I was like, are you serious?
Do you feel this weather? And it's like, do we have to
40
hike down? And
degrees
he's like,
out.
yeah. And I was like, and then and we were doing this water thing, and it was like a water like in a ship, and I like you go water in a ship. You go on the like ship, but it was like just a boat, and you sit there in the water.
bamboo thing
Yeah.
That was fun. I liked that.
was what we were going to do, but then when we randomly met up with our friends from Doha,
Yeah.
what was that? Yangshuo. We were there, and we accidentally, we're in the same hotel at the exact same week, and that was my highlight of the summer. And we
missed each
I
other
know,
just by a week.
every like week we would like you would go first, and then it would be us. But
That was a long vacation for us. It was, 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks. We went whitewater rafting, and
That's
that
fun.
was the highlight
I wish.
of my summer. It
Yeah.
was freezing cold water, but it was 1,000 degrees outside.
I remember you
That's
stayed in
so
our
nice.
room as well. I think you
Yeah.
were like in the exact same
Something
layout.
like that.
And
it was a beautiful
it was
hotel too.
Also, like, the traveling was so nice, but it was so weird to be gone from you because
Yeah,
we live on
FaceTimed
top of
you.
each other.
Yeah.
And the longest we've been apart was at Christmas when we went to we were here for Christmas. We went on like a small little vacation to Watertown, but
Yeah,
it
but
was
3
just, like,
weeks was the
that
longest.
was 3 weeks. It was so long.
felt
We went
so
to Sanya
weird
in
to
March
be,
for like a week, but we were like,
But we
gone
FaceTimed
from
a
you.
lot.
We FaceTimed
like
a few
whatever
times.
new hotel room we were
Yeah, I
at.
remember you would call us.
Yeah,
'cause you
which
were
was, like,
you were
every-
in front of the pandas, and you're like, look at the pandas.
Oh yeah, I
And
was at the
getting ready for the
pandas.
day.
we were
Yeah.
getting ready for Sanya.
Yeah, I was
so
at the pandas, and I'm like, look.
And then, I remember the difference in weather, and
Yeah, I was
I
like
just, like,
sweating.
it was so weird to be gone from you, but I don't know. I really liked traveling here. I wouldn't have seen all that. It's
No.
like, I
If
feel like
we
I've
did go
seen
home.
all of, and we went to Shanghai. Like, I feel like I
And
went
there's
to, like,
still
everything
so
I
much
needed
to see too.
Yeah, that's true.
I know.
Like I really want to see the
So-
Terracotta Warriors.
Oh, I don't want to.
I don't want my
Why?
friends want
I
to.
just think it's gonna be
I feel like
boring.
we didn't
I
go.
feel like there's a lot
I
to
feel
do.
like we
though.
haven't traveled enough in Beijing in general.
Yeah,
I feel like
like
there's
Forbidden
just,
City.
Like, obviously,
I know,
like, I
but
was so sad
it's
that we
like-
couldn't go international or go home, but it
But
was
I
like there's
adventure
obviously like
traveling.
like if not, I probably wouldn't have
Excuse
seen nearly as much as I have already. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me personally, when I found out that we couldn't go home for Christmas, I was
It was
I-
a cherry on top.
yeah,
Your
that like
meltdown.
put me over. Like I was leading up to having like
Yeah.
just a explosion of like like sadness. But like I remember
Not
like,
going home sucked, and it sucked even more when you weren't allowed to leave Beijing. But when we
Isn't
could,
that now? Like, we can't really.
I'm not sure,
I
but
have no idea what the
and
rules
it's
are
like
anymore.
the quarantine now is 4 weeks,
Yeah,
so it's like
Gross.
we're going home for summer no matter what at this
Yeah.
point. Like we've already decided that
Yeah.
if the school says no, we're going home to Canada. But it's just because it feels like so long.
But I mean, overall, from last August when I found out that I was moving till now, I'm really happy that we moved here because I was stuck in the Middle East. I wasn't stuck in the Middle East. I lived in the Middle East for my whole life, and China, it was a new culture. It was a new everything.
And
so
yeah.
for Kayla and I, it was interesting because we lived in
never-
Canada, so everything
Yeah.
there was
House.
Canadian.
so everything was new to you.
And yeah, moving here, like we met
Just the
people.
whole
It's so cool to meet
experience.
people from different cultures.
Yeah.
Like meeting people like from Middle East, meeting people from Canada, meeting even people from the States, meeting people from like
Europe.
European countries like Lithuania. We have so many of them at our school. What else? Like
Africa.
Like we had
Japan,
the Caribbean.
Korea,
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Yeah,
Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
and I don't know. It was sad first too that because of COVID, so many people left the school because they couldn't come back.
True. Anyway, so I think that's it for
Yes.
our first episode.
Let's go.
We planned for 20 minutes, and it's now an hour and 2 minutes.
I think we'll cut it down.
Yeah.
It's just
There's
so much to
especially
say.
if we're talking for like 20 minutes about a freaking flight.
There's so much to say.
But yeah, so that is our first episode.
Are we gonna do this theme song out?
Yeah, go for it, Kayla.
It might be different than the first one. I kind of forget. Do 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 do. Podcast.
That was beautiful.
God.